Hello, friends. Welcome to Science Talk. I'm your host, Jim Massa. I want to discuss with you the implications of a warmer, drier world and what that means to available water for people. As you can imagine, it's not a good situation. Falling water tables implies deeper wells and implies scarcer supplies of water. As many as one-fifth of the world's wells could be about to run dry as levels of the subterranean water table continue to fall. If they do, the resultant deeper wells spell trouble for billions of people who will face diminishing supplies of clean water and water for their crops, clean water for drinking, so forth. 96% of all available water is held in aquifers, rock sediment layers, just below, sometimes well below the Earth's surface. It sustains almost half of global agriculture. The world's drylands are also home to about a third of all people. All this is at risk because in many places water tables are falling. New study in the journal Science. If groundwater levels decline a few meters more, then the wells will run dry. Somewhere between 6% and 20% of the world's wells are no more than 5 meters deeper than the water table. And water levels almost certainly will decline. Researchers have been warning about this for some time, about global demand for groundwater. In urban areas, demand has been so great that many cities basically are literally going downhill. In other words, they're sinking into the ground. Throughout the 20th century, Tokyo sank by 4 meters, Shanghai in China, New Orleans in the US by 2 to 3 meters. And of course, with the climate change due to the global heating, you're changing the global rainfall pattern. Dry areas will get drier, wet areas get wetter, but even that, may not be enough to offset those drier regions. So, this is as the dry areas get dry, it's steadily making those areas that are already dry, making them parched, it's scorching them. And as a result, the groundwater is being extracted at an accelerated rate. So that means more water stress for millions, billions of people. And things could get a lot worse as the planet continues to heat. Californian scientists report they compiled 39 million records of groundwater well locations, along with the depths, the reasons they were sunk, and the dates they were dug. In 40 countries that collectively make up 40% of all the lands free of ice, this landscape accounts for probably half of all groundwater extraction. So to test their simulations of overall groundwater availability, they compiled and analyzed 100 million measurements made in a million wells, monitored individually, and found that in half of these, there were seasonal fluctuations around a meter or more. So they compared this against compare this water table decline against 15 years of data from the U.S. Space Agency's NASA's Gravity Recovery and Climate Experiment satellites, GRCE. They also looked at the age data of the sample to find that in many areas, the newer the well, the more likely it was to be deeper than an old well. In other words, they had to dig down further. That alone is evidence of gradually falling water tables. From India to the United States, wells are already running dry because of groundwater level declines. In California's Central Valley and several other agricultural hubs around the globe, typical agricultural wells are deeper than domestic wells. As a result, the domestic wells are running dry. Where wells are already running dry, that decline will continue and expand into areas that have not yet seen any depletion. And they warn, the researchers do, that it may not help to simply sink even deeper well. The cost could become prohibitive. And the water quality at greater depth might not be good. There's another aspect. Okay, we can take, for example, the Oglala Reservoir underneath the Great Plains. Okay, that has been basically sucked dry. And it's at the point, this is another danger, especially with the declining water tables and the wells and so on, is the intrusion of brine, making certainly not drinkable, but also some plants may not be tolerant of increased salinity levels. Now, there are doing some genetic engineering, breeding to create plants that can be more tolerant of increased salinity, but you still can't drink it. You as a person. So we have that issue. We're basically sucking dry the planet. And even though this is not part of what this discussion is about, but when you factor in the alpine glaciers and how they're disappearing, that also supplies water for agriculture, drinking water purposes. Basically, we are losing fresh water. Let's just be blunt. That's what this is telling us. We are losing fresh water. And if you think you can keep adding billions and billions of people without something snapping, without something giving way, I have words to tell you. Because between the impending crop failures, we're already measuring decreased crop yield, decreased nutritional value in the crop. We're overfishing the oceans. How are you going to feed all these people? You're going to have mass starvation. You have global famines running amok across the planet. And not to mention, as things warm up, whatever pathogens get released. So if these things continue, you're not going to have 10 billion people by 2050 or so, as some have suggested. You might have 2 billion people by 2070, as Dr. James Lovelock has opined. And if these trends continue, crops, water tables, temperature extremes, so forth, pathogens, he's probably correct. So this is yet another danger, another issue facing humans going forward as we continue to warm the planet. Thank you for your time. Hello, folks. This is Jim here with Science Talk, asking you to please subscribe to my channel and to inform others of my channel and of the work that I do. Please share to social media platforms that you use. Also, as a reminder, don't forget to click the bell so that you know when I load up more videos. Finally, I ask that you support the work that I do by becoming a patron at patreon.com. Details in the description box below. Thank you for your support.